based on the popular vote, I think a lot of the United States agrees that they'd prefer to actually spend a little bit more at the grocery store than have the government just reach into every one of their paychecks.
Yeah.
Grab more money and give it to who knows what, right?
Hello, welcome to snowy Denver. We have a very special guest today, and it's Seamus Nally, our CEO here at TurboTenant. Hey there, Seamus, welcome.
John, how's it going?
Pretty good. You want to tell the folks at home why you're here?
Yes, so I was actually on vacation last week, which was fantastic. Came back and saw a YouTube video that we put out that looked a lot more like a clip from MSNBC than it did from our YouTube channel around tariffs.
Yeah.
And I think you did a wonderful job creating an anxiety and whipping people into a bit of a frenzy about some policies that are not only designed to help the U.S. In conjunction with a handful of other policies, but are also at an arm's length from what really matters to independent landlords. And so I wanted to bring the conversation back up. And talk about it. I won't be as harsh as one of our YouTube comments that said you should go to China.
Thank you. Appreciate that. I love America.
Yeah. And we'd prefer you here.
Yeah,
we're
thank
at
you.
TurboTenant for sure.
I like it here.
What I really wanted to talk about is look at what tariffs are actually designed to do, and then how will that impact the landlord. And so where I would like to start is tariffs are a tool, right, to do two primary things. One, generate revenue for the U.S. government. And then two being incentivize purchasing and building within the United States, right, within our borders. And as that happens, there's a handful of things that will come together in order to hopefully benefit landlords, or at least not paint the doomsday scenario that you did, which was like microwaves getting super expensive. Which
doomsday.
As a landlord of 16 units, I haven't bought a microwave in a little while anyways. They're pretty durable good. But that's besides the point. The view of tariffs, and even if they do raise home prices and building materials and stuff like that in the United States, what that will really mean for landlords is actually the value of their assets, the properties they own, will go up. And for a lot asset holders, things like that, things like tariffs are actually valuable because their equity builds. It builds overnight automatically. Now, there are concerns that tariffs can cause inflation, which would incentivize the Fed to raise interest rates again, making it more expensive to borrow capital against that equity that our landlords have. However, tariffs are one piece of a cocktail that are being put together by the current administration to hopefully fight inflation and actually fight those rising costs that tariffs may create.
So how does this, I guess, when there's a story of the inflation spike we experienced after all that stimulus spending, right? Where that stimulation resulted in a huge spike, right? 7-8% type of rates of inflation. And it got back down, right? We were sub 3 for a while. I think we are right now. But inflation was still a major portion of the election. Should Trump be afraid, like that the short-term impact might linger, even if the extra pieces work, right? The deregulation works. We're spending less as a government. Our ability to service our debt increases. We have the first surplus since Clinton, right? Is the dream. When that happens, will America adjust their expectations, or will they be mad? Will we be mad still?
I think what's really important is that these different mechanisms happen with equal intensity at the same time, right? We can't do just tariffs and then say, hey, efficiency is a 2026 thing, right? We have to say the efficiency starts now. We make deep cuts now, right? Which is what you see. It's what litters the headlines.
All the headlines,
right? It's never been better to be a cable news channel right now, thanks to all the headlines coming out and the clips of Elon Musk in the Oval Office with his son on his shoulders, messing with his hat, right? It's super important that those things happen now and they happen deep so that we can get those efficiency gains and we can really grow out of the situation we're in. And that is the vision, right? That's a vision that's been put forward, is that the U.S. grows out of some of these challenges we have, both the debt we have, both the risk of inflation, grow out of the higher interest rates that we have. And that is the vision. So these things do all have to happen around the same time.
Yeah, gotcha. So we need to see evidence that these tariffs will actually not be the headline of the administration. They're not going to be the history book, right?
Yeah, they're going to blend into a better a way with which the government can generate revenue that isn't directly taxing us.
Yeah.
Which I think and based on the popular vote, I think a lot of the United States agrees that they'd prefer to actually spend a little bit more at the grocery store than have the government just reach into every one of their paycheck, grab more money and give it to who knows what, right? I'll let you read the headlines to decide where that money is actually going, right? And so I think that's a really important aspect of this. I'll also mention, you mentioned Clinton, and Clinton was actually the last person that took efficiency really seriously.
Yeah.
He cut and increased efficiency.
Right.
And it's really sad if you think about what was going on when Clinton was president, because that was the 90s, right? You're talking about the very beginning of the internet.
Yeah.
So think about all the efficiency gains the rest of the world has had from that time to today. And so this used to be a bipartisan issue.
Right. The era of big government, right, is over.
Exactly.
That was the dream.
And so it's exciting to see if we can do these things all at the same exact time.
Yeah.
In order to really paint that dream where we're growing out of some of the challenges that we face today, and everyone's benefited a great deal.
Gotcha. Okay. Do you think at the end of these 4 years, and this is a zoomed out, well, kind of more zoomed in on the rental industry in general.
Yeah.
Like, do you think that who's going to be better off after 4 years in the rental providers? The 50% of the units that are owned by the independent landlords that are using TurboTenant, like our people.
Yeah.
Or the 50% of rental units owned and managed by the kind of big money private equity skyscrapers in New York City people. Like who makes out better?
I think that's hard to say because a lot of the policies right now being put in place, the goal is to grow the entire economy, and so both are benefiting. And so I think it's hard to not just the asset holders,
right,
like we're talking about, right, but also the consumers that are tenants. A lot of the policies as we grow out, you're talking wage growth, you're talking reduction in inflation, right? And so they're going to benefit too, which means they can pay rent, which is all of our lifeblood. It doesn't matter what side, whether you're, skyscraper or whether you're us, right? Kind of independent landlords. That doesn't matter. We benefit. I think the deregulation aspect, though, independent landlords such as myself or the TurboTenant users, we can't afford a whole team of legal experts, right? That help us walk the line of all the different policies, whether they're related to how we can actually utilize our own private property that we've purchased, right? We don't have a bunch of accountants that help us thread the needle of the tax code so that we can get all the deductions, right, that the large corporations can. So I think any work to bring transparency and deregulation to businesses is actually going to benefit in a great way the independent landlord. And so from what I'm seeing right now as some of the promises that behind the policy, independent landlords should be very optimistic for what the world can look like in 4 years.
Very optimistic. I like this. Yeah, I like this take. Makes me certainly happier, and I probably sleep better at night if I fully believed everything you do right now.
Well, you should, and and talking in circles of friends of landlords that I have, my family members, which I own my rental business with. Yeah, our posture today is a hurry up and wait, see how things start to play out. It's really easy to feel FOMO, like the smart money's all moving somewhere and we're being left behind, or we're the suckers doing nothing. But really, a lot of this has to play out. And the great thing is, as it plays out, we're making sure that our properties are in good working shape. We're making sure we have great tenants that are paying rent. And
blocking and tackling.
Exactly. And we're watching our properties appreciate and our equity grow. So I think the things that a lot of landlords can do are really within their own business right now as they see how things play out over the next 6 to 12 months.
Gotcha. Well, cool. Seamus, thank you for coming on and bringing some sanity to the previous one. I appreciate it. And I'm sure the landlords at home certainly do. So thank you.
It's a pleasure being here.